The Champions League second leg games are officially here, and hey, D-Cams! We got D-Cams back for the predictions.
What's up, boys and girls? We are back.
In today's video, once again, we're going to be giving you guys our round of 16 predictions, but this time for the second leg games. And I'm still doing the $50 giveaway. No one is winning. Everyone's getting their predictions wrong. So once again, give your predictions in the comments down below. And if you get 2 exact score lines, then you will win the $50 Amazon card. So without further ado, let's get right into these predictions. Starting off with the first match on the left side of the bracket, we have Chelsea against PSG.
We just came off of watching the first leg of the Chelsea. Honestly, it went. We just came off the first leg of watching the PSG. Okay. We just came off of watching the first leg of the PSG versus Chelsea game, and oh my goodness, what I will say is, up until the first half, it kind of went the same way that I thought that it would go. But honestly, yeah, we saw PSG take the win, 5-2. Crazy game, crazy.
Bro. The first half, I see what you're saying, it was pretty 50-50, but realistically, honestly, throughout the whole game, PSG were the better team. Chelsea, especially in the second half defensively, bro, the amount of errors we saw defensively was crazy, and their goalkeeper was having a shit game.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with the goalkeepers right now in the Champions League, especially with teams bringing in their backup goalkeepers.
But now the second leg is being played at Stamford Bridge, and obviously Chelsea are down by 3 goals. But who do you think is going to win and who's going to advance?
Yeah, once again, I think looking at the tie, it's going to be a really close second leg. I think PSG and Chelsea will have another 1-1, 2-2 type of vibe. I'm going to go 2-2.
So you're going to go 2-2 in the second leg. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for PSG. But with both our results, PSG will still be advancing.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on to the next game, we have Liverpool against Galatasaray.
Yeah, honestly, I think in the last prediction, we both predicted Galatasaray to win.
Bro, defensively, they were making so many mistakes. I feel like in this week of Champions League football, it really showed you why the defense is such an important part of the team. And Konate in this game, he was doing ballerina spins, falling on the floor. I'm not gonna lie, he kind of reminds me of you when you play football.
Hey, look, we're gonna get those football videos going really soon. But look, Konate, I think his head is in Madrid right now. I think he's looking at a different transfer.
In my opinion, one of the standout players was definitely Gabriel Sara. I thought he was fantastic with his set pieces, with his corner kicks. I thought Galatasaray off of set pieces were really, really dangerous, and Liverpool didn't really know how to deal with them. And yes, Liverpool had a few good attacks. Obviously, we saw Atletico. Realistically, he probably should have scored, but I think Galatasaray's keeper was really good in this game. But now the second leg is being played at Anfield, and who do you think is going to win? What do you think the result's going to look like at Anfield?
It's going to be really tough. I do think Liverpool will just edge it, about 2-1. I think it goes to penalties, and Liverpool will actually win the whole time.
You think Liverpool win on penalties?
Yeah, I think so. I think they just get it done in Anfield.
Galatasaray, even though when we saw them play away against Juventus, they were pretty shocking. But in this match, I feel like something about them, I feel like they have something over Liverpool. So I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw in the second leg, and on aggregate, Galatasaray will advance. Moving on to the next game, we have Manchester City against Real Madrid.
Wow, this game was honestly utterly surprising. We have pretty much one of the greatest midfielders, it looks like, being Valverde. 3 goals. 3 goals as a midfielder.
Bro, he was absolutely crazy. The pace he had to get by O'Reilly on that first goal, to get by Donnarumma, was insane. The second goal, the positioning of that shot, and the third goal, when he just flicked the ball over Guehi. But in my opinion, I low-key feel like Man City kind of did this to themselves. Their defense in that game was horrible. Kusanov was trash. O'Reilly wasn't very good. Diaz, in my opinion, was at fault for the second goal, and Guehi, he didn't even know what he was doing. He was falling over. I don't know what was going on with them defensively. And once again, we see errors from the goalkeeper, Donnarumma.
Especially with that first goal, Donnarumma definitely could have saved that. In my opinion, he didn't really realize that he was still in the box, which was a little bit tough. But my predictions for the second leg, honestly, I think for this game, I'm going to go Man City to win this 2-1, but Real Madrid still advance.
You know what? I agree with you. I'm going to say that Man City also win 2-1 at the Etihad. I feel like they're going to have the advantage, but I don't feel like they're going to be able to win by more than 3 goals. So I agree with you. I think Real Madrid will advance. Moving on to the next match, we have Bayern Munich against Atalanta.
Yeah, honestly, this game, we could just call this a Bonnie Blue Bonanza. Bonnie Blue Bonanza. Bonnie Blue Bonanza.
What the fuck?
This was insane. I don't know what we were looking at right here. Atalanta got blown out the water, especially that center back, Hein. And the left back, terrible.
Bro, that left back is like Berlusconi or whatever his name is, bro. Defensively, Atalanta were shocking. And obviously, as a person who watches the Serie A, Atalanta this season, they've been really inconsistent, but this was just demolition. Bayern Munich's attack. They didn't even have Harry Kane, by the way.
Yeah.
But Jackson, Olise, Gnabry, and Luis Diaz were incredible. But Michael Olise, could he possibly win the Ballon d'Or? If Bayern win the Champions League, if France do well in the World Cup, he has to have a chance.
Yeah, his GA already this year is looking insane. It's putting up really, really good numbers, honestly. He's definitely top 3 for now.
He reminded me of prime Arjen Robben. The way he would just cut in and just finish on the left, finesse it right into the corner. Like, it's just classic stuff. And every time he did that, Atalanta, they couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't stop it. Their goalkeeper didn't have the best performance. Defensively, mistakes after mistakes. In the second leg, like, Bayern Munich could win like 10-0 if I'm being honest with you. I don't even know.
They could play the academy at this point, honestly. It doesn't really matter. They'll still win. So my predictions for the Allianz Arena game, I think Bayern are definitely going to win this about 3-0, honestly.
3-0.
Yeah.
I think as a new Bayern Munich fan, I'm going to say that Bayern Munich are going to win this game 5-0. I don't think Atalanta have any chance. Moving on to the next match, we have Barcelona against Newcastle United.
Honestly, yeah, I will say Newcastle definitely neutralized a lot of Barcelona's attack. Did really well in the defense. I feel like they doubled up on like people like Yamal, Rashford. So that's why they found a lot of success, especially on the defensive actions.
Bro, Lewis Hall on the defense. He could be the left back for England in the World Cup because what he showed us against Lamine Yamal was incredible. Realistically, Barcelona defensively never looked comfortable in this game. And I feel like that's been a problem with them all season. And now in the second leg, do you think Newcastle could get anything out of this game playing obviously Barcelona having the home advantage?
I definitely think so. I
Really?
definitely think so, yeah. Honestly, if I had to predict this game, I think Newcastle could win this about 2-1.
Wow, you're going to go for a 2-1 prediction for Newcastle?
2-1 for Newcastle.
Wow, so you think Newcastle would advance over Barcelona?
Yes.
I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Barcelona. I feel like I don't think Newcastle are going to be up to the standard. In saying that, in the first game, they were arguably the better team. But I think I'm still going to go for a 2-1 win for Barcelona. Moving on to the next match, we have Tottenham against Atletico Madrid. And in that first match, bro, don't even get me started on Tottenham. Don't get me started on their manager, Igor Tudor, their goalkeeper, Kinski. Bro, what the fuck was he doing? I don't even know what he was doing.
Honestly, it was men against boys right here. One team honestly came out. Even though Tottenham did get 2 goals, still it does not matter. Open wide, literally the whole game. How do you lose 3-0 in the first 15 minutes?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, people, I don't know if there was some curse on the field or it was like extra wet because everyone was slipping. The goalie slipped in the first goal, then Van de Ven slipped on the second goal, and then for the third goal, Kinski, that mistake, that's such an amateur mistake to try and hit it first time, and you completely scuff it and just give them a free open goal to Julian Alvarez. Honestly, Tottenham in this game, it just sums up their season completely.
Honestly, I think Tottenham are probably one of the worst teams to play at home. Honestly, I feel like they play worse at home than they do away, and the fact that they lost already like this away just goes to tell me that I think they'll probably lose another 3-0 at home.
3-0? I'm gonna go 4-1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 4-1 win to Atletico Madrid. Tottenham have no chance.
No chance.
Moving on to the next match, we have Sporting against Bodo Glimt.
Honestly, this team is so amazing to watch. They score a lot of goals. They play really, really good, active football. So honestly, I like what I see from here.
Yeah, I think they have a really good team. Their attack is incredible. Obviously, in this match against Sporting in the first leg when they won 3-0, they were clearly the dominant team. Sporting, I will say, in the second leg, they kind of got better. They started holding possession better, but in the first half, it was just dominance by Bodo Glimt. They had so much more possession. They had loads of shots. They could have probably scored 4 goals in this game. And once again, their attack is so fluid on the ball. They play such nice possession in the final third, and that's why they've been so hard to stop.
Honestly, yeah, they could be like the Ajax of 2019 days. They could honestly reach the semifinal. Maybe they even get to a little final.
If Bodo Glimt get to the final, I have to get a jersey. I'm going to have to get a jersey if they get to the final. I've been a big fan of Bodo Glimt so far in this Champions League, so I'm going to predict a 2-1 win for Bodo Glimt.
2-1 to Bodo Glimt.
2-1 to Bodo Glimt, and Bodo Glimt advance to the next round.
Exactly.
And moving on to the final match, we have Arsenal against Bayer Leverkusen.
Leverkusen neutralized them as well in the attack. Their attackers were nowhere to be found. And they did really well to even get the first goal, but obviously with that penalty, that Jubis penalty, was crazy.
Yeah, that penalty at the end of the game, it was definitely a very 50-50 call. It was definitely soft. Obviously, Madueke, when he came on, by the way, Saka this season, he's off it. When Madueke came on, he looked way more lively. He was playing way more direct football, and he was the one that won Arsenal the penalty to get them the draw. But realistically, do you think that was a penalty?
See, you know what the thing is? I feel like in live action, maybe when you're running as Madueke, you do feel a little bit of something, but not enough to go down in the way that he did. I definitely think the VAR could have overturned the call at some point.
It was very, very soft. But I will say, Bayer Leverkusen scored their goal from a corner, which is pretty ironic because, you know, Arsenal, you would expect them to. But Bayer Leverkusen, I feel like, shocked a lot of people. And in the Bundesliga, they've been very inconsistent, where some games you see them score multiple goals, but some other games defensively they're very poor. But in this game, I thought they were pretty good defensively.
Yeah, I can only agree, honestly.
But now the second leg is being played at the Emirates, and what do you think is going to happen? Obviously, Arsenal are definitely the favorites, but who do you think is going to win?
I think we're going to see a little bit of Arsenal heritage here. They're probably not going to score in the first half, and they're going to wait all the way till the 85th minute to get a little corner and Gabriel header. Boom. You know, they're going to go crazy, all this other stuff. Quarterfinals, I think 1-0 Arsenal.
I'm going to go for the opposite. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Bayer Leverkusen. I think some of their attackers, Maza, Kofane, we saw them perform very good in the first leg. Obviously, they had a lot of good chances. I feel like these are players that can really get at Arsenal. And I feel like Kofane playing in that striker position, I didn't think he did too bad against Saliba and Gabriel. And I feel like that's rare to see strikers being able to hold up the ball as good as he did. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. I feel like it's an unpopular opinion, but I think Arsenal being knocked out now would be pretty crazy.
Yeah, that'll be really crazy. I really hope it happens. This Harambo cannot go on for longer. Please, Leverkusen.
And that's the end of this video. Those were our Champions League round of 16 predictions for these second leg games. And obviously, you guys need to let us know who has the better predictions. Do I have the better predictions, or does DCams have the better predictions? In the first leg games, we both got the same amount of predictions right. So in the second leg games, we'll see who does better. As always, go check out DCams. The link to his channel will be in the description down below. And obviously, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.
See you guys.